So, I was scrolling Reddit earlier, and I saw this post. The guy writes, "I'm hoping to get in touch with the person who posted about moving stars 7 years ago." They go on to write, "The post has been archived, and many comments and posters' profiles have been deleted. I have been witnessing the very same thing though, including the gusts of winds, and I live in Massachusetts. I posted a video of one of these moving fake stars to YouTube recently titled, 'Fake Star Surveillance System / UFO. These are not satellites, and they tie together with the moon and weather control / surveillance. I'd love to chat with others who have seen this. Typically, they're commonly seen around 4:30 a.m. and will replace other stars in order to keep the same pattern of stars. Kind of like military changing of the guards. Something big is happening.'" It's pretty intense. I didn't really think much of it at first. I just thought, satellites probably, and I kept scrolling. But a few hours later, it popped back up on my timeline and, well, as you can see, a few people had a couple things to say about it. And I thought it might be fun to share with you what they said and what they thought this was exactly. I hope you enjoy. So before we go any further, I did just want to point out what the automod says in this subreddit when you post there. Among other things, it says, "Please be kind and polite to everybody. If you see any violation of this rule, please report it to the moderators. Open-minded skepticism is welcomed and encouraged." Just take note of that. But being closed-minded and intolerant is not. As someone who hates intolerance, I'm glad they don't tolerate it on this subreddit. But yeah, like I said, I was scrolling through and I, came back to the thread, and I'm honestly surprised how many people said that they saw the same thing as this guy. We have this post here saying, "I don't know anything about the post 7 years ago, but I have seen a moving star before. It was at about 9 p.m. in rural PA. It looked exactly like a star, but it was moving up and down and left to right. I think you're the first person I've heard of who saw something similar." Somebody underneath that reply says, "I was with other people in Washington State, rural area, when we all saw these balls of what looked like fire in the sky. They were in formation and moving slowly. There were other cars pulled over and people just staring up. We got out of our car watching them the whole time, speechless as they were totally silent but slowly flying above us, probably about 10 of them. Then suddenly, in lightning speed, they changed formation and literally just flew up and disappeared. We all looked at each other and were truly frozen and then silent. Weirdest thing ever." Cockeyed pessimist? Cockeyed Pessimist says, "A friend and I saw something that sounds a lot like this back in 1989 in Central Plains, but there was only 2 fireballs. They looked like slow-motion cartoon comets moving in tandem. We followed them in our vehicle for a while until we got scared and turned around. They seemed very low altitude, like not far from above the treetops." So, I could keep going on, but I think you get the idea. A lot of people are seeing these moving stars. I'll throw a couple more on the screen now, but you get the idea. I'm sure a lot of these could be chalked up to satellites, balloons, shout out China, or, maybe drinking a little too much or just getting caught up in the excitement. But what's really interesting are some of the comments coming up next. Comments from people not only claiming to have seen these moving stars, but to have communicated with them, to have seen them acknowledge their presence, to have had these stars make them feel crazy or like they're being hunted by them. Yeah, it's weird. Red Bull. "We have them here in Northern Ontario," one user writes. "My wife calls them fake stars. Something's going on. They even become aware that you are aware of them. Sometimes they'll blink bright and then disappear after we spot them. In response to that comment, Spooky Toast says, I've seen these at all times of night and early morning. I saw multiple in a short span of time recently and had a hard time believing they were all satellites by the way they all differently blinked, moved across the sky, and disappeared. I've also seen some stars moving in a irregular, circular type pattern that would definitely not move straight across the sky like a satellite would. We have another here saying, yes, I've seen this many times at night from my bathroom window. It's like I can't stop looking at it, and then it starts to draw me in. One night, I just couldn't stop staring and wondering, trying to figure out what it could be. Then suddenly, it was like something hit my window, scared the shit out of me. Good thing they were in the bathroom. And I quickly got back into bed. Ever since that night, I've never stared at a moving star for a lengthy amount of time. Someone else saying, their awareness of our awareness makes me wonder if it's something spiritual that's manifested physically. Possibly spirits and energy from souls that have passed before us. There's definitely scripture that implies things like this. Apostle Paul said, we're surrounded by a great cloud of witnesses. In this context, he was talking specifically about the souls of loved ones that are now in the spiritual realm around us. That we aren't alone. They're cheering us on until we finish our race, called life. Yeah. And, I wasn't going to read this whole comment in its entirety next, but maybe I can't do it justice if I don't, so. The next reply says, I'm glad this convo is happening. In 2008 to 2012, I was a personal assistant to Susan Bostwick, founder of the Berkeley Psychic Institute. She introduced me to David Wilcock, and I was his assistant on the New Living Expo's UFO board. I've seen thousands of UFOs in my life. I'm also hoppy. I believe they're spirit guides on a higher dimensional plane from those who have passed to spirit guides to higher dimensional beings. Practice communicating with them telepathically, even just downloading the energy they give you. This type of star being UFO gives divine energy and uploads. If you're gifted with one, listen with your whole heart and soul. They are also great at warning of impending global national disasters. They want our souls to evolve. They choose those who can help. Mac and Cheesy says, Star brothers and sisters, I've seen them move early last summer. My life changed. Now 3 Strides comes in saying, it's said when you die, ignore everything trying to get your attention. Gods, goddesses, family, pets. Do not go into the tunnel. Just look up till you see the square grid pattern. Then stare into that. Look for your star, and go to your star, or any of them. And bam! You're now in a higher dimension, and can say hi to pets, realities, and gods. User Vape It Up asks, a pretty reasonable question in response to all that, I think. How would anyone know that? 3 Strides goes on to explain, the meditators, obviously. I'm saying obviously, not 3 Strides. It's an ancient Buddhist practice too, to avoid the light, avoid the tunnel, and avoid the traps. Get to a star after you go through all the darkness. It's what the queens and kings of many old cultures hold as true. When you get through to that side, then, and only then, you can greet your God and family and so on. The rest are just hologram-type entrapments in what is called a soul net. So at this point, I'm not really sure what's going on anymore. But somebody replied, r/escaping prison planet. Prison planet. If you look down below at some of the suggested reading topics, maybe you'll be intrigued like I was. I thought, why not click on it and see what it's all about? This community explores the possibility that Earth could be a prison planet, and that we're all unknowingly stuck in a reincarnation cycle, since there's plenty of evidence indicating that this could be the truth. Evidence suggests that after physical death, human souls and memory are wiped and sent back to Earth to live another physical life, for reasons that do not benefit us. Earth may not be a cosmic school like it's been theorized, but a prison planet, camouflaged as a cosmic school. I saw that and I was interested. I'm not gonna lie, I took the bait. The first thread I saw was this one though. It started earlier for me, but check out the symbolism. And then we have the meme here. To me, this was the true golden era of gaming. GameCube, Dreamcast, PS2, Xbox. Great time. 43 comments. Okay, we got some gamers. All right. So I click on it, and first comment, can you elaborate? Not the original poster, but somebody else comes in and asks if they can explain, actually. So, I don't know, maybe we'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Let's see what they have to say. The entertainment industry died a long time ago and was actively taken over by corporate and government interests in the early 80s. The movie industry, the music industry, and of course, now the video and computer game industry. All the good vibes and creativity got sucked out of these mediums for the sake of our overlords' obsession with controlling public opinion and guiding the hidden hand of social engineering, which is so obvious and in your face these days. Someone please back me up on this claim. Anyways, yeah. ETA, I have a very reliable source for free computer games. DM me and I'll give you the link. Which, among everything else he's saying, he's ripping and tearing the video game industry apart and saying, corporate and government corruption and this and that. And then he's like, but if you want to play Call of Duty, let me know and I can get you a free copy. Like, what? Anyways, this is going on a lot longer than I thought. I was just going to do like a 5-minute video on this, but we kept going deeper and deeper, so sorry about that. If you got a sec, let me know what you think of this style of video, and I'd really appreciate your feedback down below. And also, I'd like to know if you've seen any star children out in the wilderness skies of the SoulNet. Sorry. I love reading through Reddit threads and finding some of the strange ones for you. So, hope you enjoyed. But yeah, if you like the video, give it a like. If you disliked it, give it a dislike. Subscribe if you haven't already. I'd love to hit 1,000 someday. And, most importantly, take care of yourself. I hope you have a good night. Bye for now.